Hey, welcome to Dukes on Twitch, back with another league with Green-White Depths. Green-White Depths is a form of Dark Depths combo decks which plays a Green Sun Zenith package. So it's pretty much a mid-range deck with a combo finish, kind of relying on Green Sun Zenith to not only find beaters like Elvish Reclaimer and Knight of the Reliquary, but also some of your silver bullets. So cards like Gaddock Teeg for combo, Scavenging Ooze for your graveyard decks, Knight of Autumn is sort of your Swiss Army knife against some artifact and enchantment reliant decks. Ramunap to use your graveyard as a resource and get back lands. And also Sylvan Safekeeper, which can protect all your threats, which is really nice. So I've broken up the deck between our mana base, some of our silver bullet lands, the combo and Mox Diamonds, our protection, our beaters, our non-creature spells, and then our silver bullets. So this deck tends to run usually 2 forests, 1 plains, 3 Savannah, 4 Windswept Heath, and then 2 sort of other green fetches. It doesn't really matter if they're not Verdant Catacombs. You could play something like Misty Rainforest and maybe even against an opponent put sort of in their mind that you might be on a blue source if you have to concede early to some sort of fast combo deck. And then we have Dried Arbor, Maze of Ith, Bojuka Bog, Karakas, 2 Wastelands, 2 Steppes, and an Ancient Tomb. I'm playing 2 Steppes because I want to try out the second one. I think a lot of players, if they know the deck, will play around the first, but they won't play around the second. I've also had some cases where having Steppe in your hand isn't that great. You can't cast it at instant speed, so that's a little bit of an issue that I've run into a few times. So I wanted to see if that can change it by running 2. The Mox Diamonds are really nice for an early aggression strategy. They are card disadvantage, which is a little bit rough, but with the Ancient Tomb, we can actually go Mox Diamond, Ancient Tomb, Green Suns for 2 against some decks. So getting a turn 1 Teeg or Scavenging Ooze against some sort of the more linear decks in the format can actually be really good. Just running 3 Depths and 4 Stage. We're not that much on the combo as the other decks, so running the 3 Depths mean we don't have a higher chance of having it in our opening hand. And it is a land that doesn't produce any mana in this deck. So in the green-black variants, you have Urborg, which can obviously allow Dark Depths to produce black mana. But in this deck, the only way you can produce mana with it is if you discard it to Mox Diamond. So happy with the 3-4 split there. 2 Tomiks, a Sylvan Safekeeper, and 4 Give of Runes. These are all just to protect your creatures, mainly your Dark Depths combo. So Give of Runes is played in this deck over Mother of Runes because it's an X2, so it fades a lot of the hate right now for X1 creatures. But the main reason is it actually gives protection from Karakas, which is a legendary source. So that's pretty sweet. Sylvan Safekeeper I really like just as a one-of because it is protection we can find with Green Suns. So although these one-ofs are only one-ofs in the deck, Green Sun Zenith does act as sort of copies 2 to 5 of that card. And it's the same for Crop Rotation and a lot of these one-off lands. So although there's only one Karakas, we can find it with Crop Rotation, with Elvish Reclaimer, with another Reliquary. So the consistency of Green-White is really strong, and that's actually a reason why I've really enjoyed it so far. Moving on from there, Knight and Elvish Reclaimers are just great ways to not only get the combo together in game 1, but also find some of these one-off lands, and also beat down. So some of the decks, like Green-Black Depths, that if your opponent has a great strategy against the Dark Depths combo, you might find it hard to put together a beatdown plan, but this deck definitely doesn't have an issue with that. And I think Knight of the Reliquary is really the card that trumps the mirror matches, or at least should. And I think it's just really good right now in the current format. Green Suns and Crop Rotation, it's really about consistency and finding our combo, finding our one-off hate bears, or even just the one-off lands that we really need. Sylvan Library just adds that all together and allows us to be really aggressive against the decks that don't really like us. It allows us to be quite aggressive against the decks that don't really care about our life total being 20 or 8. If they're going to kill us, they're going to kill us. So, against like Storm or the Mirror, we can be pretty aggressive with Sylvan Library, even against a deck like Miracles or Blue-White Stoneblade as well, just to find those sort of hate pieces for that. Onto the sideboard, it's fairly easy. Parts are for the creature decks, mainly for Delver. Surgical and Feramika is there as a split. You could definitely run Leyline of the Void if you want. I just really enjoy playing these over Leyline because I think Leyline, if it's not in your opening hand, you might have to mull away. It makes you mull quite aggressively where maybe you shouldn't be mulling, which I think is just an issue with Leylines in general. The Veil of Summers and Thalia are mainly for the combo matchups. Control as well. Thalia is a nice little speed bump that also applies pressure, so I could definitely see something like Deafening Silence in its spot, which is a little bit harder to remove as well, and comes down turn 1 a lot more. But Thalia's been really good. I really like that it's a creature. Kind of adds to the strategy of this deck to beat down, so really like that. And then 2 Force of Vigors and a Collector Oof. You could run Rexage if you want. I really like Rexage because it plays around Blood Moon really nicely. A lot easier to cast through a Blood Moon than, say, not a Reliquary or Qasali Pride Mage, but at the same time, if you're not too worried about Blood Moon, I could see another Knight of Autumn or Qasali Pride Mage in the sideboard. Collector Oof is just there for some of the matchups where it really hurts. So Force of Vigor is great, but Collector Oof can really just turn off so many powerful artifacts your opponent might control, who's on Bummerman or Eldrazi Post, or even against Storm and Death and Taxes. It's a card that I'll definitely bring in, and where it has an impact over multiple turns rather than Force of Vigor, which can kind of just get your opponent once and then they might be able to rebuild. So that is the deck. We'll go through a league. We'll see how it goes. I'll see you in round 1. Thanks for coming in.